like I say, there's no right or way. But what I'm feeling in my spirit is the story that I was telling you about called Within Strength, writing the script, figuring out, okay, how do we get the funding to get this film made? You know what I mean? That's the uphill, you know what I'm saying?
Looks, bro. I
Yeah.
bet I would think like as you were talking, I was thinking like you need investors or you need like crowdsource funds or you need to do something like I think Ali Sadiq, right, where he does his comedy routines and he does it all on YouTube for like an hour, 2 hours on YouTube. Do something like that to build the buzz. But because I think that first copyright your script, right?
Yes.
First copyright your script, because if you got a fire script and fire story, that's gonna matter. Right? And I'm telling you that from the perspective of a guy that doesn't really copyright anything yet, because ultimately I know I'm gonna keep creating more anyway. And people gonna jack your flow no matter what you do. But I would say if you're gonna create a buzz around something, and again, you've been doing this, you create your social media presence around this idea of this movie and build that up, right? Make that be something big, and then start doing table reads with people so you can put it out there. Start doing stuff where people get the energy from it, and then start figuring out how to market it where people might want to go ahead and invest in you. And oh, by the way, email 50 Cent, bro. Like, hey, Curtis Jackson, Mr. Jackson, sir, right? You're doing a lot of big things down in, where's he at doing this big stuff?
Where is he? I don't know if it's Atlanta.
No, it's like Mississippi or something like that, bro. Yes, like Baton Rouge, I feel like.
Okay.
I feel like he just bought out like Baton Rouge. And like he's opening up like a whole studio bank down in that section, right? And it's completely off the reservation, but that's the kind of person that I think would be interested in a storyline with what you're going to bring to it. And you just got to figure out how to farm it out there and build that buzz and leverage stuff like this, leverage social media to start telling your story, or do short films that will encapsulate pieces of what it could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And figure out what the budget needs to look like. Because, you also look at the people that got like Tubi. Tubi got some good content, bro. Like, I'm not going to knock them. So who's funding those?
Yeah.
Netflix is making, I say Tubi because you talk about the culture, right? I feel like Tubi is generating a lot of the movies in the culture, especially I'd say like Black culture versus like maybe Netflix or versus like a Hulu, depending upon what your storyline is going to be. But Pretty Little Liars was on Hulu. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. So depending upon what your market's going to be for your film, that's the kind of people I think you want to reach out to and tell them, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing. Yeah. And then, bro, whenever you get that, my only advice is document the entire ride.
And you're literally saying everything, right? Somebody was actually telling me the same thing that you literally the other day. Like, people want to see the process and whatnot. And
they do, bro. They do. And if you're smart, you capture that content and then you put that documentary out separate as an addition to your story, but following whatever happens with it. Bro, the first one, I mean, your first short film did, I think, relatively well. Yeah. Right? I think it did good. I mean, for coming where you came from and for doing what you did, I think it did good. What matters the most is that you get this done, right? That matters more than anything. It ain't got to be no award-winning production. What dope is you get it done, right? And then you can always have a foundation to build on, right? As to wherever you want to go. It's just the beginning. And I think figuring out how you're going to get it financed is going to be critical. But that's where I would focus my attention. Or you go ahead and go out there and get them loans and invest yourself and see where it goes. But you would know more about that than I do.